So it's me and Mia again. Hi Mia.
As per usual.
But today we have a special guest, Dan!
What up? Yay!
Tell us a bit about your channel and what you kind of are up to.
Yeah, so we have a channel called ISATV. It was founded by Wong Fu Productions and Far East Movement. It's a platform for Asian American youth culture. And then I also have my own channel where I do rap stuff, adoptee stuff, and
Yes. Actually, we've seen him in action, so it's pretty cool. So you guys need to check it out too.
It's pretty cool, right?
It is.
So today our video is just going to be kind of hanging out with Dan, seeing what he's up to, what he likes to do, and we're also going to play a few games with him after, just to let loose, get to know each other a little bit more.
Can't wait. Let's do it.
That's probably going to end on a
I just
bad
came here for the
note.
game. All right.
So we've introduced Dan as this producer of ISATV channel and also as a rapper, but what we also are going to talk about is adoption story. Kind of like tell us how you started the process and the kind of things that you went through and the things that you remember the most. Just tell us all about it.
I'll tell you everything. So basically, all right. So I had this opportunity about 3 years ago to go out to Korea, where I'm originally from. I'm adopted, and luckily I was able to, out of just whatever, like pure luck,
Pure luck.
where I had the opportunity to actually meet my biological family. So I met my biological family, including my mom, dad, and I also found out that I had this identical twin brother that I never knew about.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just a really, really amazing thing, like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So we had this opportunity to go out there, and I figured that we might as well film it so that way, not only for myself, but for other adoptees out there, other people, to be able to see content that like best represents them.
So after going to Korea, like what would you say, how was the reconnecting process? What was that like, seeing your mom or seeing the people that you may have grown up with while you were there?
You know, it's crazy because I feel like that everybody like wonders, I think a little bit in their head, like maybe we, like what happens if like Mia had like an identical twin
Oh
out
my
there?
god.
Yeah.
Or like if Alicia had like a sibling out there that you guys never knew about.
Where's my doppelganger?
There is one out there.
So the
Anyway.
weirdest thing I think is like just seeing people that like look like you for the first time.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen like when I'm around other Asian people, you're like, oh yeah, like we kind of look similar. But to really like just see it, and I think my biological dad like looks very, very similar to me too. We've got very like similar mannerisms. It was kind of freaky, but also just like a really special thing.
What about your twin brother? How does it feel to like meet your twin brother
Yeah,
for the
because
first
you know how
time?
they always say twins have
like this
instinct.
connection, yeah.
You know, we didn't have the instant connection,
No?
just because I feel like that it was weird and uncomfortable a little bit.
Okay.
But the more
Did he
and
speak
more,
English?
He spoke a little bit of English,
Okay.
but he's actually like he's in Australia right now, actually.
Oh.
And he's learning more English, and I
Okay.
feel like that whenever we communicate, like it's become a lot easier and easier over the time.
Were they like really open about kind of meeting you? Because you
Yeah.
know, you hear stories
Yeah.
about they're a bit distant, they don't want to kind of reconnect.
No, totally.
everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have definitely like reached out to meet their biological family.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But not only were they open to it, it happened
Yeah.
pretty immediately. It takes could be like years and years.
Yeah.
Oh.
It took like 4 months, and it just happened to be that I was going out to Korea that summer, and it just
Yeah.
worked out. They wanted to see me when I came out.
Yeah, it's so crazy because I was actually watching another documentary called Twinsters.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, their mother or their parents didn't want to reconnect with them for
Right.
whatever reason. So, you know, that was the reason why I asked. But that's
Yeah, exactly.
really special. That
And interesting about Twinsters, so go watch the Twinsters documentary. That's
yes,
on Netflix right
highly
now.
recommend.
Highly recommend it. But Sam, the girl that was in that documentary, was
Yeah.
actually part of my documentary.
Okay.
And we're really good friends in LA because we have this very interesting shared thing
Yeah.
in common that we both met our twin siblings
Yeah.
at the same time. So she met her twin earlier than mine, but as soon as I found out, I emailed her and I was like, hey, you're not gonna believe this.
Yeah.
But I've got a twin sibling too. And that's like a sentence that you never expect to ever like say to anybody.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys something? All right, so
Yeah.
like if Felicia had a twin or if Mia had a twin, what do you think that your twins like? Do you think that you guys would get along? Would you
I
guys
think
be
that's-
like, would you
I
be like,
never
who's
really
that
thought
girl that
about
looks
that.
like me?
It would be so weird to be like looking in the mirror but not.
Yeah, I would probably want to like reach out to their face or like, are you real? Like, are you a real person?
No, but I think it would be really awesome because, like, for me, I have a sister as well, and just someone to bond with that understands you. And if they're from a totally different culture, I think learning about a person who is kind of more or less like you but not,
Yeah.
that would be super cool.
Yeah, you know, I will say that like one of the most interesting things is definitely like getting to know him, especially because he grew up in Korea. Seeing him like in that world could have very easily like been my experience.
Yeah.
And so getting to know like his experience like living in Korea and just
Yeah.
like watching him and like learning more about like how he grew up. It was like, oh my god, very easily like, yeah, it's like learning about yourself, but like Korean you.
Do you guys have like similar personalities, or are you guys like the opposites? Or?
I feel like there's some things that we very much have in common that are like incredible, like you couldn't make this up. Like for instance, like we both got into hip hop at the same time. Our interests are very similar. He raps too, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
We got into rapping at the same time, and like our tastes are very similar. And so I feel like that whenever I buy him gifts, I'm like, I know exactly what to buy him.
Yeah,
easy,
because it's like whatever I would want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's definitely things we don't have in common. Mainly because I feel like because he grew up in Korea, there's like cultural things, cultural mannerisms that like he just kind of just inherently has. Versus like growing up in America, it's like very different. I feel like that you guys could probably relate too, because I feel like that you grew up in Indonesia, and you grew up in Australia, and I feel like that your experience is coming into America and seeing how like Americans are.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like the culture, just the childhood, like what you're raised with, the values, the lifestyle, it really obviously like molds you into the person you are, right?
It does, yeah.
Going to Korea, being exposed to the Korean culture, has that made you more interested in wanting to find out about it, or were you originally like interested?
You know, I was definitely pretty interested just because I felt like not being Korean, but like still being Korean.
Yeah.
Like without knowing the family was still like I wanted to like find out a little more about myself. Before I met them, I never really considered myself to be like Korean American. I was like, I was just like, I'm Asian American. I know what that means. But now that I met them, I feel a little bit more connected to my Korean culture.
Yeah.
So
How's your Korean, by the way?
awful.
Is it?
I bet you guys can speak more Korean than I can. I can say hello. That's pretty much it.
Okay, how do you say it?
Ready? That's good.
안녕하세요.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's good.
No, that was so bad.
Really?
Korean viewers, yeah.
Wait,
Look
say
at
it again.
안녕하세요.
What about food? What's your favorite Korean dish?
I couldn't even tell you. The
Really?
only thing I could pronounce is bulgogi.
Oh, come on, what about bibimbap?
Well, no, I love bibimbap, but I just can't like. There's dishes that like I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But I just can't pronounce them. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Butchering your own language and
Exactly.
stuff.
Are you still in
Yeah.
contact? Like, do you
I
talk
am.
every day, or?
We do, yeah. We use cacao.
Yeah.
And it is super funny because I feel like that whenever I cacao, like my brother and I can speak English. Like he speaks English pretty well. With my biological sister and like I cacao with my biological
How
father.
do you communicate with them?
He sends me the funniest messages. Like we just basically talk in emojis. And then he sends me like
21st century for you.
But I bet you the expressions are just spot on. Do you see any differences in you between or before and after reconnecting with your birth family? Or do you feel
Differences in
different?
me?
Yeah.
I will say that I'm very excited about just life and like the world, and I feel like that after this happened, literally anything can happen. I feel like as an adoptee, as an Asian adoptee especially, there's not a lot of like positive content out there.
I've seen like, I don't know, the whole thing about adoption has like a certain stigma to it. I don't know if it's like an Asian thing or if it's like a universal thing, but like to have someone like you to like be so positive about it is like,
Whatever I can do for the adoptee community, I want to be able to do.
So now we're just gonna move on to these rapid fire questions. We're
Let's
gonna
do
put
it.
you on the spot
do
because
it.
that's always fun, right?
I love questions.
Go.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Last song you listened to?
Kanye West album, the one that just came out.
Yeah.
All of it.
Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
One thing you miss most about being a kid?
PE.
If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
I would be a hedgehog because they can run really fast, according to cartoons.
Can they?
Hey!
Why don't you be a roadrunner? All right, top 3 favorite Disney movies.
Do Pixar movies count?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, all right. Up, Inside Out, and I don't know, Mulan.
They're all the deep emotional
Yeah.
ones.
Okay, In-N-Out or Shake Shack?
In and Out.
What is your biggest achievement thus far?
Meeting you guys, being here in this video, obviously.
Best New York memory?
Meeting you guys here in New York right now. This,
What a
obviously.
suck up, man. Morning person or night owl?
Night Owl.
Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh, New York, so we can do more of these videos.
Biggest fear?
Not being in New York. Spiders. Okay.
Favorite TV show?
Master of None. I just watched it, so that's the only one on my mind right now.
Craziest thing you've ever done? Don't say come to New York.
Skydiving.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we're out of time.
Scary.
Perfect.
Alright guys, so now we're gonna move on and play some charades with Dan.
Jurassic Park?
Wow.
What is this?
Robot fighter. Robot.
Yes!
Open your eyes, you Asian.
My eyes are
That was
open.
pretty